Yo, what's up? It's your boy Quincy Murray with another episode of Not Just Music Podcast, where we keep it real and honest. Being a podcaster, being in the entertainment, doing this freedom of speech that we do, giving our opinions. A big thing happened with Jimmy Kimmel and the president. It started with Kimmel actually making a joke of a young speaker, Charlie, I believe his name was. If I got his name wrong, I'm sorry. It was a speaker, but he spoke out. The speaker spoke out on a lot of things, political, personal, about people's life, the way they choose to live, gender, sex, abortion, all these topics, the world is very sensitive of, and he ended up unfortunately getting killed. And we don't condone any killing or nothing like that. Anybody, any race, any person, that we take that serious. Anytime somebody loses a life over a voice, opinion, how you feel is always a bad thing. Fast forward, Kimmel had made a joke aimed at the president, but the victim that got killed actually was part of the joke. Basically, he got suspended. The government, Donald Trump, had suspended his show, and I think he was off air for a week. And this was all over a joke. And I think the joke was
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. There's demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish. Okay.
So he got suspended, and a lot of people were, talking about freedom of speech. What happened to freedom of speech? What happened to jokes? Does freedom of speech give a person a right to hurt a person's livelihood or hurt a person physically or whatever the case is?
What's going on? It's your boy Duan Barino from Not Just Music Podcast. I have a very special offer for you guys via morelabs.com. If you're that type of person who loves to drink coffee, but you don't want to always drink coffee, or if you're the type of person that doesn't drink coffee at all, but needs a very much needed push boost in the morning, we have something for you. Morning Recovery Supplement. It is very, very useful. It is very, very highly effective. Also, if you're the type of person that, you got drunk the night before and you wake up in the morning, you had a hangover, guess what? It works for you too. All right. So at the end of the day, if you head over there to morelabs.com, we have something set up for you already at checkout. All you have to do is enter the code NJMP and you will receive 25% off instantly. How about that? Can you beat that? Head over to morelabs.com, all right? Peace.
And what I want to talk about today is a black female by the name of Ada Bell Wales. Anti-lynching pamphlets help usher in a new era of journalism. Okay, you may be familiar with the term muckrakers or yellow journalism. At the turn of the 20th century, journalists began writing vividly, describing stories about horrific practices around the country and world. Nellie Bly's 10 Days in a Madhouse and Ada Tarbell's The History of Standard Oil Company as two classics of the genre. But without Wales' Southern Horrors, a 1982 pamphlet detailing lynching accounts throughout the United States and how those lynchings were enacted to punish black people who threatened white power structures. Her investigative journalism gave rise to new mythology. Okay, so she basically was telling stories, vivid stories of black lynchings. You know, back then it wasn't really a lot of coverage. We didn't have cell phones, we didn't have cameras, so this generation wouldn't have even known of the things occurring or going on if it wasn't for people like her, Ada, that covered these things, wrote these things down, reported these things back then. Even now, people that have experiences, journalism is a big thing. It's a freedom of speech. And unfortunately, we live in a country now to where people want to dictate the news. People want to dictate the narrative. If it's something that makes them look bad, if it's something that doesn't go by their accord or how their standards, then they want to shut it down. They basically want to control the narrative and control the news. Anything that makes them look good, anything that's supportive of them is okay. But anything that's against them, is not supporting them or their cause, they want to silence it. And I feel like if it's going to be freedom of speech, it needs to be free from all angles. And us as people, we have to realize everybody's not going to see our point of view. Everybody's not going to think how we think. Everybody's not going to feel how we feel about everything or some things at all. But the point we must remember is it's a freedom of speech. It's an opinion. And no opinion and no freedom of speech gives another individual the right to attack your livelihood, meaning your job, financially, or even making it worse, taking your life over freedom of speech. So shout out to women like her that were brave enough to report these things and tell the truth, because the truth will set us free. And no matter how much we hate an opinion, what lies under the opinions and what lies deeply under all of the he say, she say, one thing you got to remember is, one thing that'll never change is the truth of all these opinions. You can think what you want to think, but facts, truth, they don't lie. All right. So yeah, people, freedom of speech. I have the freedom to do this right here, Not Just Music Podcast, tell y'all my opinions, my feelings, how I feel, what I think, my facts, flaws, good, bad, whatever, to inspire hopefully somebody like me. And if you don't agree with the content that I do or say or what I say, I appreciate y'all still giving me this platform to speak my freedom of speech. So respect to ones that support us, respect to ones that don't. Because at the end of the day, y'all still allow us to have this platform. God allows us to have this platform. And we're blessed. And we're going to keep striving, keep telling our points of view. Not Just Music Podcast. So once again, it's Quincy Murdoch, another episode of Not Just Music Podcast, where we keep it real and honest. Peace.